It's Duncan with Operation Blue Memphis here. Just want to go over the next phase. This video will be about river turbine technology, specifically hydrokinetic turbine technology. It will be an analysis of several different products that we believe that can help Memphis, help this plan, and we'll talk about what those goals are. And in previous videos, we've alluded to this video. This probably will be a little bit more of a deeper dive because when I started this process, I didn't know anything about. I knew what hydrokinetics was, but I didn't know any details about it, specifically river hydrokinetics. The knowledge that I came in with was just more about dams technology. I kind of had a good idea on how dams work. And just so my background is a little bit in education and science, I've taught and teach now. And so, but yeah, I had to learn a lot. So I'll try to share this in more layman's terms because the goal is to get this information out. And we also will put out just a visual. I'm talking to people through a screen. I mean, I haven't put up any visuals, any videos, anything like that. And so people need that. I need that as a learner, but I'm just kind of going over it. Also, I'll add some links. I'll go back and add some links to some of the previous videos too. So again, the goal is also for you guys to be able to research this stuff yourself. Just be a guy at a desk at a chair. I don't want you to just have to take my word for it. All right, so again, this is a hydrokinetic turbine technology analysis, and these are framed as the most, or what we believe, the most effective systems for our Mississippi River hydrokinetic turbine project right around the Memphis, Tennessee area. And so there were 5 systems that were evaluated. And the goal, the target capacity is 1 gigawatt. According to the research that we found, 1 gigawatt of energy can power about 250,000 homes. And then there's no dams. Okay, so in this case, we're not looking at any dam technology. These river turbines should be able to function successfully without that. Now, again, let's talk about the goal. We want a current velocity of 2.25 to 3.0 meters per second. That's the average current velocity. We want to, again, 1 gigawatt generation potential. It will be continuous 365 days. Again, the Memphis River has been true to that every day. And so yeah, that's a huge plus. And then there has already been 36 permits issued by the federal organization in charge of that on some specific projects, on some things that are going on downstream in the lower Mississippi River near Louisiana. So again, no dam, no flooding, no impoundment. The river does all the work, just taking advantage of what is already being done. And so let's start with the first one. And again, I'll try to go back and add some visuals even to this video. So the first one is the ORPC Modular River Gen. That's a River Gen power system. It's an Ocean Renewable Power Company. They're out of Portland, Maine. And what they specifically, this device is about 18 kilowatts. The river, it can function it has to be greater than 5 meters. That's the minimum water depth, which we talked about before. The Mississippi River right around Memphis area is fits that. This particular system it can be fully submerged, because we're going to talk about some systems later on that need to be hoisted to some buoys. And it's a TRL9. I mean, it's maximum readiness. So again, here's some bullet points about this system. It's deployed on the lower Mississippi River already. Shell Technology has a partnership since 23-24 with this company, and they've already got the permits. They're already functioning downstream. So this is the most logical choice in choosing a system as of right now. As an environmental science teacher, this is big to me. The second point, there's zero fish mortalities or injuries across years of continuous monitoring. That's huge because the first and biggest pushback with this particular part of the Operation Blue Memphis plan was okay, how's it going to affect the environment? Memphis, not only Memphis, but most of the states up and down the Mississippi utilize the Mississippi for commercial use, and then you just don't want to harm the environment. So again, according to this, zero fish mortalities. Now, all components of this system can be below the waterline. There's zero navigation interference. Again, it's the fourth largest. Memphis has the fourth busiest port in the United States. A lot of commercial traffic, again, but there's no navigation interference thus far, and zero visual impact. Okay, again, it's submerged, so you don't see it. Now, ships in standard intermodal containers, the Port of Memphis logistics advantage. And finally, a smart grid native, it connects directly to the Tennessee Valley Authority transmission infrastructure. We've talked about in previous videos. This power source can supplement the mid-continental grid. And so that is huge. And so even some of that excess energy can be sold and to power other places, not only just the Memphis area, other states that need power, other countries that need power. We gave a great example of Iceland and how they use their geothermal energy, the excess, the surplus to export. Now, Memphis specific advantage, ORPC has already studied, as we talked about, and deployed on the lower Mississippi. Memphis scales up an existing relationship. And so it's just basically not starting over from scratch. And so this system is already in place downstream. All we have to do is to bring it upstream and make it work for our area. And so it's great potential for this company as well, because they get to scale it up in our area. Now, they're not the only one. There's a few different others we want to take a look at. Free Flow Power, the smart turbine, that's from Free Flow Power Corporation. They're out of Gloucester, Massachusetts. Any of these information, you can look all this up. And like I said, I'll try to give you some visuals. They have some great videos. All these companies have great videos that they've done in YouTube, and you can Google this information. So, what they have is a system that produces 40 kilowatts at 3 meters per second. That's the flow that's needed. The rotor diameter is about 3 meters. They have about 120 turbines per array. So you have the turbines, and then they're joined together in arrays. So there's about 120 of them to produce energy, to produce this hydrokinetic energy, and then about 4.8 megawatts per farm site. So some bullet points. It's the only turbine system tested and operated directly in the Mississippi River. They filed FERC permits for 53 Mississippi River sites. It is the largest river hydrokinetic permit portfolio in U.S. history. 6 megawatts per mile target, so 10-mile Memphis corridor. That's going to equal about 60 megawatts in phase 2. The Department of Energy confirms zero discernible harm to the Mississippi River fish species. Again, we're going to keep you guys know abreast of what's going on with how these things affect the environment. Now, here's one cautionary thing, is that it did surrender some permits in 2012 due to market conditions, technology, and but performed flawlessly. So the advantage Memphis had, the Memphis advantage, is that it holds the most relevant FERC permit history and Mississippi specific engineering data for gigawatt scale deployment. And this is essential to the Operation Blue Memphis plan in phase 3. Okay, phase 3 is going to be the back unit plan that we talked about. Now, we've also mentioned this, Verdant Power. Verdant Power, well, let's talk about the equipment itself. Verdant Power has the Generation 5 or Gen 5 free flow system. Verdant Power is out of Virginia, and I have a 3-blade horizontal axis turbine. Okay, and so it is ready to go. It has a 1.1 meter per second startup speed. and 312 megawatts. That's how much can be delivered to the grid. And in 15 years, zero zero ecological impact, according to this data. Now, it is the only FERC licensed and TRL 9 verified hydrokinetic system in existence globally. Second benefit is that it proves an active commercial navigation corridor in the New York City East River. Again, we spoke about that in previous videos. This system is already functioning now in one of the busiest ports and cities in the country and the world, New York City. And they have, again, what we talked about, 15 different years of zero adverse ecological impacts on record. Okay. Now, the not concerns, but just things of note. I'm sorry, alarm's going on. The RITE project, it was decommissioned in 2021. The next commercial phase system is in development. And also, it hasn't been tested on freshwater river. The East River in New York, that's actually tidal saltwater, okay, because the East River opens out into the Atlantic. And so, but the Memphis advantage is it's the strongest regulatory and ecological track record globally. Again, this plan advises that we contact Verdet about the next gen commercial system before phase 2, and the RFP is issued. Again, the world's first commercially licensed tidal power project in the United States. Okay, so again, that's the Verdet Power Gen 5 free flow system. Now, let's look at our fourth recommendation, and that is in-stream energy systems vertical axis turbine. Okay, the rotor diameter that they have is about 3 meters. Just similar to Verdet Power, they have a 1.0 meter per second startup speed, and they had their rated speed is 3.0 meters per second, and it has up to 30 RPMs at rated flow. Now, this system mounts on bridges and piles, so zero new riverbed infrastructure required. And this was interesting when we looked at the video, because the previous systems are either buoyed in the Mississippi River or on the floor or the bed of the Mississippi River. So these are mounted. So if you go to Memphis, obviously for the people who haven't been there, Memphis has the two bridges that connect us to Arkansas. And so if you can visualize these systems being mounted on bridges and piers, and the current basically stirring and moving and creating that electricity. So another benefit is that dramatically simplified permitting versus freestanding water and river arrays. It's a fully vertical axis. It rotates automatically in either current direction. Okay, as a stainless steel and aluminum construction, it's excellent corrosion resistance. From one thing of note is that it has limited scale per structure. It's suitable for a pilot, but it hadn't been phased to the gigawatt scale. Okay, again, our goal is 1 gigawatt. That's going to power about 250,000 homes in an area, but it's not gigawatt scale as of yet. So there's definitely something to keep our eye on. Now, the Memphis advantage. The Memphis advantage is that you can deploy these on the Memphis Bridge piers in year 1. The public can see it. It brings public visibility, early revenue, and operational data, while phase 2 FERC licensing proceeds. So we've talked about that FERC process. The permitting process is a 5 to 7 year process, which obviously we got to get started with that, at least starting process, as soon as we possibly can. And so while we are going through that process of approval, we can potentially install devices like this that can at least give the public, they can see, hey, this is what's going on. It can give us public visibility. Okay. So, and of course, some early revenue, which we definitely could use for this project. Now, this before we even mention the name, this is a future watch. So we are already anticipating this plan going through, and this is a future watch technology, but we're going to give you some details about it. I thought it extremely interesting when we read about it. That is the Sri Manta, SRI Manta, ARPA, ARPA-E Sharks program. This company is SRI International. That's out of Menlo Park, California, and it's essentially an underwater kite system. It's a tethered current energy converter. So interesting. So the target kilowatts is going to be about 5 cents per kilowatt. Is the TRL status, current readiness is, I would say, is not up. This is a future watch, so it's not currently ready to be deployed as of yet. It's about 4.2 million, the ARPE award, and a service crew size about 1 to 2. So it has the lowest projected cost per kilowatt of any hydrokinetic technology in development. Okay, so this kite we talked about moves slower than turbine blades. It's significantly safer for fish and wildlife, and so we even talked about some of the others that haven't had any wildlife impact, at least according to this data. It's also steerable. Active collision avoidance capacity is already built in. Now, here's some of the things to think about. It's not commercially ready as of yet. Okay, it's about 5 to 8 years from phase 3 eligibility. Again, this is a future watch, and it has specifically been designed for tidal and coastal currents. So river adaptation is not yet proven as of yet. But again, it's something to keep our eye on as we continue this process. It is an emerging technology. So the advantage for Memphis is that it tracks closely for phase 3 reevaluation in 2031 plus. If this Shark program, if it delivers, it can have 5 cent kilowatts target. That would cut Operation Blue Memphis energy costs by 80%. So again, that's why this is extremely important, and hopefully they can go through the process of getting this phased up to be able to benefit Operation Blue Memphis. Now, let's see. We'll finish with this. These are the 3 companies that, based on this information, based on this data, that we believe that should be contacted ASAP. We've already went over, but we want to kind of talk about some of those highlights. The first one is ROPC. That is Ocean Renewable Power Company. They're again out of Portland, Maine. Why? Because they've already deployed. They've already have a project going in the lower Mississippi River that's via a Shell technology partnership. It is Memphis's most natural phase 2 technology partner. And so for us, we believe they get the first call. Okay. Now, the second is Free Flow Power Corporation. Again, they're out of Gloucester, Massachusetts. They have a contact via the Department of Water, Power, and Technology's office. And it holds the most relevant FERC permit history and Mississippi River engineering data for gigawatt scale arrays. Again, we're looking to create at least 1 gigawatt. Now, that's essential for phase 3. So they will be the second company that's been recommended to contact. And then Verdant Power. Verdant Power, again, out of Virginia. They operate the project up in the East River, New York, but they are the only TRL-9 certified system in the world. And so they have some next generation commercial systems before phase 2 procurement. The RFP is finalized. So again, they are next up when it comes to what we need. And again, their system has been primarily for tidal and salt water. The East River dumps into the Atlantic. So it's not exactly fully freshwater, but we still need to contact these companies. And if we get full approval, to let them know what we're doing, and we'll go from there. So, so a lot of stuff about river technology. We are gonna include, I guess some pictures, a PowerPoint, maybe a video, something that can kind of bring this information to life. I know I'm just kind of talking about it. I find it extremely interesting. It's amazing how far hydrokinetics has come, and the potentiality. Just not even the potential, just the reality. Now, these companies are just American-based countries. There are American-based companies. There are other companies around the world that are already operating in other river systems. maybe at some point we'll bring those into the fray and give you an analysis on those. But these 5 companies that we talked about can get the job done for us as of right now, still within that 15-year framework. Those out of all 3 phases that we've talked about. And so, guys, I again, that's our information on some of this river technology. If you have any specific questions, you can contact us directly. We are going to present this information to a few specific parties and organizations that have an interest in this, and so I really hope that we're able to take advantage of it. All right, guys, thank you as always for your time, and God bless.